A tiny spacecraft drifted through the endless blackness of an uncharted star system. It was small, fragile, and unarmed, its hull scratched and dented from years of quiet travel. Inside, two small alien twins clung to each other, trembling so violently that the ship's instruments rattled. Their large glassy eyes reflected the stars outside like twin pools of fear. They had never been brave. Until tonight, they had never needed to be. Outside, their home planet, lush with forests, glimmering lakes, and rolling hills, was burning. Smoke spiraled into the thin atmosphere, and distant flashes of energy indicated explosions. The twins' colony, a peaceful civilization devoted to farming and trade, was under attack. The Krull Raiders, a ruthless band of interstellar mercenaries, had come without warning, capturing adults to enslave them and leaving destruction in their wake. The aliens had no weapons. They had no defense. Only hope. "Please, humans, help us," the smaller twin whispered, her voice shaking as she pressed a clawed hand against the console. Her twin brother nodded, his tiny body trembling, but his eyes glimmered with the same desperate hope. They had heard the old legends, stories of humans. Strong. Fearless. Merciless when roused. They were not just myths, they were nightmares for those who underestimated them. The twins had nothing but a communication beacon. Its light flickered weakly as it sent their distress signal into the void, a tiny pulse against the vast darkness of space. It was almost laughable to think anyone would respond. Yet somewhere, across the light years, the message found ears. A human Deathworlder fleet, a name whispered in fear across countless sectors, intercepted the call. Known for conquering worlds that other races feared to touch, these humans were creatures of survival and strength. Their ships were massive, bristling with weaponry, but they were precise, disciplined, and almost eerily quiet. When the twins' SOS reached the fleet, the captain's eyes narrowed. He was a tall, imposing figure, his body scarred from countless battles. His hands rested on the command console as he read the message, each word from the trembling twins displayed in holographic text. "Please, humans, help us. Krull Raiders, our parents, no weapons, no defense, save us." Silence filled the command deck. The other crew members exchanged glances, the weight of the unknown settling over them. Then the captain's voice cut through the tension. "We go." It was not a question. It was a command. Back on the tiny spacecraft, the twins' calm flickered as they waited. The moment stretched unbearably. Would anyone answer? The void seemed infinite, and the stars beyond looked indifferent. Then, faintly at first, they heard it. The hum of enormous engines, a deep resonance unlike anything their species had ever known. The humans were coming. Inside the Deathworlder ships, the crew prepared for a mission that would take them far from familiar space. Every instrument hummed with readiness. Weapons were armed. Tactical maps were projected in mid-air, showing the twins' home planet surrounded by hostile forces. No one knew the Krull Raiders' numbers, their strategy, or the deadly creatures they kept as guards. The unknown stretched like a shadow across the fleet. Yet humans did not hesitate. Fear was foreign to them, not because they were reckless, but because they had mastered courage in its purest form. Every crew member moved with a calm, controlled intensity. Their confidence was a weapon in itself, one that even the Krull Raiders would soon come to fear. Back on the tiny spacecraft, the twins pressed a hand against the comm screen. Are you really coming?" the larger twin asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Yes," the captain's voice replied over the universal translator, calm and resolute. "We will be there. Stay hidden. Survive." The words were short, but they carried a weight that no fairy tale could match. The twins felt a flicker of hope, fragile and trembling, like the first leaves of spring after a harsh winter. But hope alone would not save them. The Krull Raiders were ruthless. They had weapons the twins could not comprehend, and their patrols were everywhere. Any sound, any movement could betray their location. The twins glanced at each other, their small hearts pounding in unison. Survival now depended on patience, cleverness, and trust in beings they had only heard about in legends. The spacecraft drifted closer to the surface, weaving through asteroid fields and using every trick the twins knew to stay invisible. Each flash of energy from the raiders' attacks sent jolts of fear through the tiny hull. Yet the twins pressed on, sending small updates to the fleet, tiny pulses of hope across the stars. In orbit, the Deathworlder fleet prepared for descent. They analyzed every possible threat: atmospheric conditions, gravitational anomalies, raider patrol patterns, and even the faint energy signatures of the Crawl Raiders' bioengineered beasts. Every calculation was precise, every decision deliberate. They were a storm approaching a world that had never known real protection. As the twins' planet grew larger on their view screens, the full scale of the devastation became clear. Villages lay in ruins, forests smoldered, and cries for help echoed faintly through the calm. It was chaos, but within that chaos, the humans saw opportunity. They would strike, not recklessly, but with precision. The helpless could be saved, and the predators brought to their knees. The twins pressed closer together, holding their breath as the fleet's massive ships loomed overhead. The hum of engines, the shimmer of energy shields, and the quiet, deadly calm of the Deathworlders filled the void. Something was coming, something unstoppable. And for the first time since the attack began, the twins felt a sense of relief, a hope stronger than fear. Above them, the human ships slowed into formation, preparing for their descent. Below, the Crawl Raiders were unaware that their prey had not only called for help, but that help was coming from legends. Legends that were real. Legends that would not fail. And in that moment, the void of space itself seemed to hold its breath. The Deathworlder fleet drifted silently above the twins' planet, a constellation of massive ships glinting against the blackness of space. Below, the world that had sent out the desperate SOS looked deceptively calm from orbit. Lush green forests stretched to the horizon, rivers sparkled under twin suns, and clouds drifted lazily across the sky. But the twins' warnings had been clear: appearances were deceiving. Danger lurked everywhere. The fleet's captain studied the holographic displays. Red blips indicated hostile forces scattered across the planet's surface. Buildings in smoke-colored patches showed signs of raids, fires still smoldering in the villages. The Crawl Raiders had left their mark, and they were still here. "Scan for life signs," the captain ordered. His voice was steady, calm, and carried the weight of authority. The crew obeyed, and soon the results appeared. Dozens of terrified humans were not here, but hundreds of alien life signs, some moving cautiously, some hiding, were detected. Most were adults. Many were too weak or frightened to defend themselves. In the tiny spacecraft, the twins watched the massive ships in awe. They had never imagined anything so enormous, or so intimidating. The larger twin whispered, "They're real." The smaller twin clutched his arm. "And they're coming for us." The human fleet began descent maneuvers. Their massive vessels glided into lower orbit, engines silent but radiating power. The Crawl Raiders had set up patrols near the main colony, but they could not know what approached them. To the raiders, the humans were legends, myths of strength and violence. And myths were dangerous things when they became real. The twins guided the fleet through the communication link. "Avoid the northern forest," the smaller twin said. "They have patrols there. There are traps." He pointed to faint blips on his console. "Cages, electric nets, and the beasts." The Deathworlders listened, analyzing every detail. They appreciated the twins' knowledge. It was precise, local, and invaluable. "Prepare drop teams," the captain said. "We move carefully, but we move fast. No mistakes." Minutes later, a squad of human scouts descended toward the planet in sleek drop pods. Flames from atmospheric entry lit the pods like shooting stars. The twins' hearts pounded. They could see the humans landing near a small river, far from the raiders' main camp. The landing was silent, almost ghost-like. Not a single shot fired. Not a single life wasted. The first humans stepped onto the alien soil. They were imposing even on the ground, tall, muscular, eyes sharp and alert. Weapons were holstered but ready. Every movement calculated. The humans scanned the area quickly, noting natural cover, raider patrol paths, and potential ambush zones. The twins, hiding in a nearby grove, held their breath. Could they trust these humans? Their legends said humans were fearless, yes. But what if they failed? But as the humans began moving, fluid and confident, the twins' fear gave way to hope. Suddenly, a distant shout shattered the calm. A raider patrol had spotted one of the twins' traps, set to slow intruders, and reacted. The humans froze, crouching behind rocks and trees, letting the patrol come closer. When the raiders were within range, the humans struck. Quietly, efficiently. Not a sound but the hum of suppressed weapons. The aliens' hearts pounded as they watched. The raiders fell silently, unconscious but unharmed. The twins gasped. They don't even need to fight," whispered the smaller one. "They are too fast." The humans advanced toward the colony, using every natural cover. They moved like shadows, unseen until it was too late. Traps set by the crawl raiders, spike nets, energy mines, and motion sensors were detected and disarmed before they could trigger. The twins relayed every detail: hidden trenches, watchtowers, and supply caches. Every piece of intelligence brought the humans closer to the prisoners. Then came the first test of strategy. A group of raiders had captured several adult aliens and moved them into a small canyon, guarded by two bioengineered beasts, creatures with jagged teeth, glowing eyes, and scales like black metal. The twins froze. "No one survives those," the larger twin whispered. But the humans didn't hesitate. The captain divided his squad. Some distracted the beasts while others freed the captives. Tools, weapons, and quick-thinking tactics were all in play. The twins' eyes widened as they saw humans leap onto the beasts' backs, neutralizing them with precision and strength they had only imagined in myths. Once the captives were free, the humans moved swiftly to the next target. The crawl raiders were spread thin, unprepared for such a tactical assault. Every move by the humans seemed pre-planned, yet flexible. Every obstacle was anticipated, every trap disarmed. The twins could hardly believe their eyes. Hours passed, though it felt like minutes. The humans cleared the path toward the colony center, the twins guiding them, their fear slowly replaced by awe. Each destroyed raider camp, each freed alien, was a step closer to safety, but also a step deeper into the unknown. The main raider stronghold still awaited, and no one knew what horrors were inside. As the fleet hovered above, ready to provide support if needed, the twins whispered to each other. "We thought we were alone," said the smaller twin. "We thought no one would come." The larger twin nodded, tears in his eyes. "But they came. And they are incredible." Above them, the Deathworlders continued their quiet advance. Every scan, every movement, every calculation was perfect. And yet, the unknown stretched before them. More raiders, more traps, and the possibility of creatures they had never seen. The suspense was thick, almost tangible. The twins held their breath, knowing that the humans below were not only their hope, they were their only hope. And in the distance, the first sounds of conflict began. The quiet before the storm, the calm before chaos. For the first time, the twins understood the truth of the legends. Humans were not just strong. They were unstoppable. And the crawl raiders were about to learn that lesson the hard way. The humans moved like shadows across the alien landscape. Every footstep was careful, measured, precise. The twins, peering from behind a grove of glowing blue trees, felt their hearts pound in their tiny chests. They had never seen anything like this. The humans were silent, but their presence radiated authority and danger. Ahead, the crawl raiders' camp sprawled across a rocky plateau. Makeshift buildings, cages, and fire pits dotted the area. Raiders patrolled lazily, confident in their strength. They had no idea what approached. "This is it," whispered the larger twin. "If they see us, if they see them." His voice trembled. The smaller twin nodded, trembling even more. Every story they had heard about humans suddenly seemed real. The humans crouched behind rocks, scanning the camp with advanced sensors. The captain's voice was calm over comms: "Divide into teams. Team Alpha, secure the cages. Team Beta, neutralize patrols. Move quietly. No unnecessary alerts. The twins watched as humans split into two groups, moving like predators through tall grass and jagged rocks. Each movement was precise, almost unnatural. The humans were not reckless, they were perfect hunters. The first raider patrol appeared. 4 warriors, heavily armed, strolling toward the edge of the camp. Team Beta froze, waiting. The twins held their breath. One false move, and everything could end in disaster. Then, without a sound, the humans struck. In an instant, the patrol was incapacitated. The twins' eyes widened as they saw how fast, how efficient, the humans were. Not a single raider made a sound. Not a single human was hurt. It was as if the attackers had vanished into the shadows. They are like ghosts, whispered the smaller twin. They don't even fight. They just... His voice trailed off in awe. The humans continued forward, carefully avoiding detection. Each step brought them closer to the prisoners, the captured adult aliens who had been taken during the raiders' night raids. The twins guided them through secret paths, hidden under rocks, across narrow streams, and through dense forests. Every shortcut was mapped, every hidden trap revealed. But the raiders were cunning. The humans soon encountered the first obstacle, a series of energy nets strung across a narrow canyon. One false move could trigger alarms. The twins froze, expecting panic. Instead, a human reached out, touched a small device on their belt, and the nets powered down silently. The twins gasped. They can disarm the traps without touching them? The larger twin asked, disbelief clear in his voice. Yes, replied the captain's voice in the calm. We adapt. We plan. We act. The humans moved on. Soon, they spotted the cages where the prisoners were held. Raiders lounged nearby, some cleaning weapons, others tending to bioengineered beasts, creatures bred for combat, with metal-like scales and jagged teeth. The twins' stomachs twisted in fear. The beasts, they will kill anyone who comes near, whispered the smaller twin. But the humans did not hesitate. Team Alpha split into smaller squads. Some approached the cages directly, while others circled around to distract the raiders. When the beasts moved to attack, the humans leapt. One human grabbed the nearest beast, flipping it onto its back. Another used a precise tool to disable its claws. In moments, the creatures were neutralized, unharmed but completely under control. The twins could hardly believe their eyes. They are stronger than anything we imagined, said the larger twin, his voice shaking with awe. The prisoners, mostly exhausted adults, were too weak to move on their own. The humans lifted them, one by one, carrying them to safety. Their strength was incredible, their speed unmatched. Every freed alien looked around in disbelief, realizing their rescue was real. But the suspense was far from over. Alarms suddenly blared. A hidden raider squad had spotted Team Beta. Energy weapons crackled as humans ducked behind rocks and trees. The twins froze, expecting disaster. The humans reacted instantly. Coordinated, precise, deadly. With swift movements and tactical tools, they neutralized the hidden squad. Not a single human was hurt. Not a single prisoner lost. The twins' jaws dropped. They are unstoppable, whispered the smaller twin. I don't understand. They are humans, the larger twin replied softly, awe in his voice. The legends were true. As the humans continued through the camp, freeing more captives and disarming more traps, the Crawl Raiders began to realize something terrifying. These were not ordinary attackers. They were not mercenaries. They were something far more dangerous. Their confidence wavered, fear creeping into their ranks. For the first time, the raiders felt vulnerable. The twins watched silently, hearts racing, as humans cleared the camp with flawless precision. Each freed alien, each disarmed trap, each incapacitated raider, was a testament to the humans' power. Hours passed, but the twins barely noticed. They were caught between fear, hope, and awe. When the last cage was opened, the humans gathered the prisoners for extraction. The twins' parents emerged, pale and weak but alive. Tears ran down their cheeks as they embraced their children, relief overwhelming. The humans did not celebrate. They moved on, eyes scanning for any remaining threats. The battle was far from over. Somewhere in the distance, more raiders waited. More traps, more danger, more unknown horrors. The suspense was thick, but the humans' calm presence reassured the twins. For the first time, the twins realized the full meaning of the legends. Humans were not just strong. They were fearless. They were strategic. They were unstoppable. And the Crawl Raiders had just learned the first, terrifying truth. When humans fight for the helpless, there is no escape. The humans moved swiftly through the burning remnants of the colony, their boots silent against the scorched ground. Smoke curled into the air, carrying the scent of fear and fire. The twins followed at a safe distance, their hearts pounding. They had already seen the human strength, but what came next would test both their courage and their belief in legends. The humans paused at the edge of the main settlement. The area was littered with cages, nets, and strange machinery. The Crawl Raiders had clearly planned to hold as many captives as possible before moving them off-world. Some prisoners were conscious, terrified, and chained, while others lay unconscious from exhaustion. The captain surveyed the area. Team Alpha, secure the prisoners. Team Beta, watch for patrols and prepare for any surprises. His voice was calm, but every word carried authority. The humans dispersed, blending seamlessly with the shadows, moving toward their targets. The twins gasped. They don't even run, whispered the larger twin. They just go. The first group of prisoners was trapped in cages that hovered slightly above the ground, protected by energy fields. Raiders patrolled nearby, unaware of the humans' approach. One human stepped forward, a small device in hand. A soft click, a flicker of light, and the cage's locks disengaged silently. The prisoners blinked in disbelief, unsure if they were dreaming. One elderly alien stumbled forward, tears streaming down his face. Who are you?" he whispered. The human did not answer. Instead, he motioned for silence and began helping the others out of their cages. Strength and speed allowed him to carry two at a time, moving quickly yet carefully. The twins' eyes widened. They can carry them, like it's nothing," the smaller twin muttered. But the Crawl Raiders were not completely absent. A patrol rounded the corner, weapons raised, eyes alert. The humans froze, calculating. Then, with a precision that seemed impossible, they struck. Within moments, the patrol was incapacitated, conscious, but harmless. Not a scratch on any prisoner. The twins were in awe. They had never imagined beings could move so fast, think so clearly, and act with such power. Every freed alien seemed to realize the truth as well. Humans were not just warriors, they were protectors, legends walking in flesh and blood. As the humans continued, the twins guided them through hidden paths and secret passages. Narrow alleys, fallen walls, and dense groves of alien trees provided cover, keeping the humans unseen by larger raider groups. Every movement was strategic. Every decision precise. Then came the first real challenge, a large bioengineered beast, chained to a massive post, guarding a group of prisoners. Its eyes glowed red, teeth bared, and muscles rippled with dangerous strength. The twins froze, certain that no one could defeat it. The humans approached calmly. One of them placed a hand on a control panel near the beast. Sparks flew as the machine controlling the creature's aggression short-circuited. The beast roared but could not move properly. Another human leapt onto its back, guiding it to the ground safely, ensuring it could not harm anyone. The twins stared in disbelief. They're controlling it, whispered the larger twin. Yes, said the smaller twin, eyes wide. They can do anything. With the beast neutralized, the humans freed the prisoners. Families reunited instantly, sobbing and hugging. The twins ran forward to their parents, clutching them tightly. Tears streamed down faces that had only moments ago been pale with fear. You came for us, the mother whispered, shaking with relief. The humans did not linger. Their focus shifted to the next area. More cages, more prisoners, more traps awaited. The crawl raiders had prepared for an entire army, but they had not counted on humans. The twins followed silently, awestruck. Every step revealed more of the humans' brilliance. They disarmed traps before the raiders could trigger them. They used advanced scanning devices to detect hidden enemies. They coordinated like a single organism, each movement part of a larger plan. But danger was never far away. From the corner of the twins' eyes, they spotted raiders hiding in ruined buildings, weapons ready. The humans approached cautiously, their presence unnoticed until the perfect moment. Then, with lethal efficiency, they struck, neutralizing the threat without a single civilian harmed. Hours passed in a blur of tense movements, whispered instructions, and careful rescues. The twins could hardly keep up, but they stayed close, helping where they could. The humans appreciated the guidance, but they needed no help with the fighting. Their strength and skill were unmatched. Finally, the main camp came into view. This was where the majority of prisoners were held. The twins' stomachs twisted in fear. They had already seen the humans' abilities, but the raiders here were elite, stronger, and more dangerous. The captain assessed the terrain carefully. "We go in waves. Quietly, precisely. No mistakes." The humans advanced like shadows, blending into the ruins. The twins watched, hearts pounding, as the first wave neutralized the guards and freed the prisoners. The second wave moved in, covering the humans and preventing reinforcements from reaching the area. It was a delicate dance, tension so thick that the twins could feel it in their own hearts. Every shadow could hide a raider. Every noise could trigger chaos. Yet the humans moved calmly, deliberately, like the legends had promised. By the time the last prisoners were freed, the humans had secured the area. Not one had been harmed. Not a single move had been wasted. The twins' parents hugged them tightly, tears streaming, voices trembling with relief. "We thought we were lost," said their mother. "We thought no one would come," the larger twin whispered. "But they did. And they are incredible." The humans glanced at the twins, nodding briefly, then turned back to the surroundings. The threat was not over. More raiders were out there, more traps, and perhaps creatures even deadlier than before. But the humans' presence was undeniable, and the twins knew one thing. For the first time since the attack began, they were not alone. And the crawl raiders were about to learn a terrifying truth. When humans fight for the helpless, nothing can stop them. The rescued aliens huddled in a clearing, their bodies trembling and their hearts pounding. The humans stood nearby, weapons lowered but eyes sharp, scanning the forest edges for any sign of danger. The twins clung to each other, relief and fear warring in their minds. The first stage of the rescue was a success, but they all knew the crawl raiders were clever. They would not give up easily. The captain moved quietly to the twins, studying them. "Are there any others hiding? Anyone pretending to be one of you?" His voice was calm, but the twins understood the gravity of the question. The larger twin hesitated. There might be. One of the captives. She seemed different. She asked strange questions, about your weapons. The smaller twin shivered. She said she wanted to help, but I don't trust her. The humans exchanged glances. Even in a clearing of frightened aliens, suspicion could be deadly. One false ally could spell disaster. The captain nodded. "Stay alert. We will handle it." Meanwhile, the supposed ally watched silently, her large eyes scanning the humans with careful calculation. She smiled too easily, laughed too softly. The twins' instincts screamed danger. And soon, their fears proved true. As the humans began organizing the rescued aliens for transport, a sudden alarm echoed through the forest. The hidden raider spy revealed herself, activating a hidden transmitter. Within seconds, the forest erupted with movement, raider squads emerging from concealed paths, armed and ready for combat. The humans reacted instantly. Weapons were raised, and with a series of coordinated movements, they neutralized the first wave of attackers. The twins gasped as humans leapt, dodged, and struck with uncanny precision. Every raider incapacitated was done so efficiently, without harm to the prisoners. But the betrayal had a cost. The raiders had learned of the humans' presence in detail, and more squads were on their way. From the shadows, a second group of raiders attacked, surrounding the humans and their rescued charges. Panic threatened to take hold, but the humans remained calm, eyes calculating, movements deliberate. "Hold positions," the captain commanded. "Protect the prisoners. Watch every angle." The twins hid behind a pile of rocks, trembling as the humans positioned themselves strategically. One group created a perimeter, another moved to flank the attackers, and the captain personally engaged a raider squad attempting to breach the clearing. The humans fought like shadows of death, fast, precise, and unstoppable. The bioengineered beasts the raiders had brought were unleashed next. Large, metallic-scaled creatures with glowing eyes lunged at the humans. The twins gasped. "No one can stop them," whispered the larger twin. But the humans did. In a stunning display of skill, one human leapt onto the nearest beast, neutralizing it before it could attack the prisoners. Another fired a device that emitted a high-frequency pulse, incapacitating the other beasts. The twins watched, astonished. They are like legends," whispered the smaller twin. Amid the chaos, the raider spy attempted to flee with critical information. A human intercept team moved in silently, surrounding her with lethal efficiency. The twins could see her eyes widen in fear, an expression they had never seen on a raider before. The humans did not harm her unnecessarily. They captured her, ensuring the threat was neutralized without collateral damage. The rescued aliens began to understand the humans' power. Their fear slowly turned into awe. They are different," whispered one adult alien to another. "Stronger than anything we imagined. Faster. Smarter." The twins, however, realized that danger was far from over. More raider forces could appear at any moment, and the forest was filled with traps yet to be discovered. Every rustle of leaves, every shadow could hide another threat. The humans organized the prisoners into small, manageable groups, assigning squads to watch each side. They moved with silent efficiency, clearing paths, disarming traps, and keeping the aliens calm. The twins followed closely, hearts pounding. Every moment without attack felt like a brief reprieve in an endless storm. Suddenly, from the tree line, a massive explosion shook the ground. One of the raiders' hidden supply caches had been rigged to detonate, a last attempt to slow the humans. Trees splintered, earth cracked, and smoke filled the air. The humans shielded the prisoners, moving them to safety with unbelievable speed. Not a single alien was harmed. The twins' eyes filled with tears. They had never imagined being so powerful and careful could exist. The forest grew quiet again, but the twins knew the calm was temporary. The Crawl Raiders were cunning and ruthless. They had learned of the human strengths, and they would not give up without a final, desperate fight. The captain assessed the situation. "We continue. Stay close. Watch every shadow. No mistakes." The humans advanced slowly, covering each other, clearing paths and watching for hidden threats. The twins followed silently, fear mingling with awe. Every move was calculated. Every action precise. They had survived the first betrayal, but the deeper they went into raider territory, the greater the danger would become. And in the shadows, the Crawl Raiders watched, realizing too late that the humans were no ordinary warriors. The twins' planet had called for help, but the Deathworlders had answered. And once the humans were here, nothing would stop them. The twins clutched each other tightly. For the first time since the attack began, they understood the full meaning of the legends. Humans were not only strong, they were unstoppable, fearless, and unyielding in the face of danger. And the Crawl Raiders had no idea what was coming. The forest grew quiet after the last wave of raiders was neutralized. Smoke rose from scorched ground, and the occasional crackle of fire reminded the twins and the humans that danger had not ended. The rescued aliens huddled together, shaken but alive, while the humans quietly regrouped, scanning every shadow for lingering threats. The twins watched silently. Their parents were safe, at least for now, but something still gnawed at them. The Crawl Raiders had not come merely to enslave. There was a deeper purpose, one that the small aliens could not yet comprehend. The larger twin finally spoke, his voice trembling. There is something they are hiding. Something very important. The captain raised an eyebrow. Explain. The twin hesitated, glancing nervously at his sister before pointing toward the ruined settlement. When they attacked, they were looking for more than slaves. They spoke, they whispered, about a crystal. A source of power hidden beneath the old city. They cannot get it without destroying everything else. The humans paused. A crystal. Power source. Their tactical minds processed this new threat immediately. Raiders rarely came for ordinary things. A crystal capable of drawing such attention must be valuable beyond imagination, and in the wrong hands, dangerous. We have 2 missions now, the captain said calmly, voice cutting through the tension. 1. Keep the prisoners safe. 2. Protect this artifact, whatever it is. Failure is not an option. The twins' eyes widened. The raiders, they will not stop for anyone. They will destroy everything to get it. Yes, replied the smaller twin. Everything, even us. The humans began moving cautiously toward the city ruins. Every step was calculated. The twins followed, guiding them along hidden paths they had learned from years of living in the colony. They pointed out collapsed tunnels, underground passages, and weak points in raider defenses. Every detail mattered. As they neared the center of the ruins, the humans paused. Scattered debris, broken machinery, and scorched walls littered the area. But beneath the rubble, faint glows pulsed from a half-buried structure. Energy readings spiked on the human scanners. The crystal was here. The twins gasped. There it is, the larger twin whispered. The raiders, they want it. Everything they have done, it was to reach this. The humans moved as one, a disciplined, silent wave. They circled the area, scanning for traps. The twins' warnings had helped them avoid countless dangers already, but the raiders had prepared for this moment. Pressure plates, energy shields, and hidden squads could trigger at any moment. Suddenly, a faint sound echoed from the shadows, a low, mechanical growl. The bioengineered beasts were back, larger and more ferocious than before, their scales shimmering in the dim light. The twins froze, fear paralyzing them for a moment. No one can stop them, whispered the smaller twin. But the humans could. With swift, precise movements, one human leapt onto the nearest beast, pinning it to the ground while another fired a pulse device that disabled the others. The twins watched, jaws dropping. It's impossible, the larger twin murmured. They are unstoppable. The crystal's glow pulsed stronger, as if sensing the humans' approach. Energy ran through the ground, and the twins felt a strange vibration under their feet. The artifact was powerful, more than they had imagined. The humans noted this as well, taking extra precautions to avoid triggering any hidden defenses. Then came the raiders' elite guards. Unlike previous attackers, these were trained specifically to protect the crystal. They moved in formation, armed with advanced weapons and ready for battle. The humans did not hesitate. Their squads split seamlessly, some drawing fire, others flanking, and a few moving directly toward the artifact with protective shields. The twins watched in awe. Every move was tactical genius. Every attack calculated. Not a single human was reckless. Not one prisoner was endangered. The HFY legends were real. They were witnessing them firsthand. The battle was tense but brief. Within minutes, the raiders' elite forces were incapacitated, leaving the crystal untouched. The humans secured the area and began assessing its energy output. The twins approached cautiously, their small hands trembling as they reached out toward the glowing crystal. It's alive, whispered the smaller twin. It's not just a crystal. It's thinking. The captain nodded. We must protect it. The raiders will not stop. They will return stronger. But for now, the threat is contained. The twins exchanged glances. They had been scared children, pleading helplessly for aid just hours ago. Now, they were witnesses to human power, strategy, and courage. They understood something essential. Humans were not just saviors, they were unstoppable forces, capable of facing any danger and protecting the helpless against impossible odds. The twins' parents joined them, eyes wide with awe. "We owe them everything," the mother whispered. The captain's voice cut through the quiet, firm and resolute. "We will leave soon, but remember this. Call for help, and humans will answer. Always. Nothing will stop us when the helpless are in danger." The twins nodded, tears of relief and admiration shining in their eyes. They had not only survived, they had learned the truth of the legends. Humans were more than strong. They were fearless, strategic, and unstoppable. And the galaxy would never forget their arrival. As the humans prepared to extract the rescued aliens and leave the planet temporarily secure, the twins looked back at the glowing crystal, realizing the gravity of what had been saved. The Crawl Raiders' true goal had been revealed, and the humans had prevented catastrophe with precision and bravery beyond anything they had imagined. For the first time, hope did not feel fragile. It felt unbreakable. And somewhere, deep in the shadows, the Crawl Raiders plotted their next move, unaware that legends had already arrived to challenge them. The forest was quiet now. Smoke drifted lazily into the sky, curling over the ruins where the Crawl Raiders had fallen. The air smelled of fire, ozone, and victory. The rescued aliens huddled together, exhausted, but alive. The twins stood beside their parents, trembling with relief and awe, watching the humans move with quiet efficiency. The captain approached the twins, his presence calm and commanding. "The mission is complete," he said. "The prisoners are safe. The artifact is secured. The raiders will not return for a long time." The larger twin looked up, eyes wide. "But, how did you do it? They had so much power." The captain smiled slightly. "Strength alone is not enough. Humans fight with strategy, courage, and determination. When the helpless call for help, nothing stops us. Not numbers, not beasts, not traps. We answer." The twins' parents rushed forward, holding their children tightly. Tears streamed down their faces, relief mingling with disbelief. "We thought we were lost," the mother whispered, voice shaking. "We thought no one would come." "They came," the larger twin said, his voice trembling. "And they are incredible." The humans began organizing the survivors for transport back to safe areas. Camps were dismantled, traps disarmed, and temporary shelters prepared. Even in the midst of victory, their discipline never wavered. Every alien had a guide, every path was secured, and every detail considered. The twins watched, still in awe, realizing that humans were not only strong, they were careful, fearless, and unstoppable. As the rescued aliens prepared to leave, the twins approached the captain again. Will you stay?" the smaller twin asked, voice small. We need you." The captain shook his head gently. "Our work here is done, for now. But remember this, when you are in danger, and when the helpless call, humans will answer. Always. No one else fights like we do." The twins' eyes filled with tears. They had called for help, and humans had answered in a way that no one could have imagined. Strength, skill, strategy, courage, all combined to create something legendary. The twins realized that the stories they had heard about humans were not myths, they were truth. And even the truth had underestimated them. As the humans prepared to depart, the twins and their parents walked through the forest, observing the damage left behind by the raiders. Fires were smoldering, cages were destroyed, and the remains of traps littered the ground. But amid the destruction, life was returning. Birds chirped cautiously, small animals emerged from hiding, and the survivors began rebuilding, inspired by the humans' courage. The larger twin turned to his sister. "We were terrified, but now, we understand. Humans are unstoppable." The smaller twin nodded, his eyes wide. "They saved everyone, even when it seemed impossible. even when the raiders were too strong. They are more than warriors. They are legends. Above them, the Deathworlder fleet waited silently in orbit. The massive ships gleamed in the light of the twin suns, engines quiet but ready. When the humans finally left, it was without fanfare or celebration. Their work was done, and yet their presence left a permanent mark, a mark of hope, strength, and courage. The twins watched as the humans departed, hearts full of gratitude and awe. They knew that the galaxy had changed. News of the humans' heroism would spread far and wide, striking fear into the hearts of the raiders and giving hope to those who were helpless. As the last ship disappeared into the stars, the twins' father spoke softly. We were saved, not just by strength, but by courage, by planning, and by beings who never give up. Humans. They are something extraordinary. The twins nodded, understanding the truth in a way that no story could convey. The SOS that had shattered their silence had been answered, not by chance, but by beings who embodied everything the galaxy had ever feared and admired. For the first time in their lives, the twins felt true safety. Their colony was free, their parents were alive, and the artifact was secure. And they knew that if danger ever returned, humans would answer again. Always. The sun set over the peaceful planet, painting the sky in hues of gold and red. Birds flew cautiously above the trees, survivors began rebuilding, and the forest slowly began to heal. And far above, the stars glittered like silent witnesses to a story that would be told for generations, a story of fear, hope, courage, and the unstoppable power of humans. The twins looked at each other, tears of relief and awe in their eyes. We were so small and helpless, whispered the larger twin. But they came. They answered. And nothing can stop them. The smaller twin nodded. Legends, real legends, in flesh and blood. And in that moment, the twins understood something that would stay with them forever. In a galaxy full of darkness, humans were the light. Fearless, unstoppable, and always willing to fight for the helpless. The story of that day, the tale of the SOS that shattered silence, would echo through the stars for generations to come. The forest and ruins lay quiet for only a brief moment. The Crawl Raiders were far from finished. From the distance, the twins and the rescued aliens could hear the dull thrum of approaching engines and the metallic clatter of armored boots. Reinforcements were coming, larger, stronger, and more aggressive than anything the humans had faced so far. The humans moved quickly to organize their positions. Spread out, the captain commanded. Protect the prisoners. Use terrain. Trap every advance. Stay calm. Stay precise. The twins watched from a ridge, hearts pounding. Their awe had grown with every move of the humans, but the danger now was unlike anything they had seen. This was no longer a rescue mission. It was a full-scale battle, a fight for the planet, the prisoners, and the mysterious artifact the raiders sought. The first wave of raiders appeared, surging through the forest like a dark tide. They were armed with energy rifles, shields, and several smaller bio-beasts trained to attack anything that moved. The humans responded instantly. Weapons fired silently yet lethally, disabling the raiders' shields and subduing the beasts before they could strike. Every human moved like a single organism, anticipating each enemy before they acted. The twins clutched each other. They are everywhere at once, whispered the smaller twin. How can they fight so perfectly? They're humans, the larger twin replied, awe in his voice. Stronger than anything we imagined. As the battle raged, the humans used the terrain to their advantage. Fallen trees, jagged rocks, and streams were transformed into traps for the raiders. Some humans acted as decoys, drawing enemy fire, while others flanked from the shadows. The twins' eyes widened as they watched humans leap across rocks, slide through narrow passes, and neutralize multiple attackers with incredible speed. The raiders tried to regroup, but the humans were already 2 steps ahead. Their tactics were flawless, an unbroken chain of strategy and precision. Not one human was injured, not one prisoner harmed. Every move was calculated to perfection. Then came the elite raider commanders. Heavily armored and armed with energy blades, They charged the humans directly, aiming to break their ranks. The twins' hearts stopped. Even the humans might struggle against such ferocity. But the humans did not flinch. One leapt forward, intercepting a commander mid-charge, using strength and skill to disarm him in seconds. Another blocked an attack, spinning and striking with precision. The twins' jaws dropped. Every human seemed unstoppable, moving in perfect harmony with the others. Amid the chaos, the rescued aliens watched with growing admiration. What they had feared as impossible was unfolding before their eyes. Humans were more than powerful. They were tactical, fearless, and unyielding. Legends in flesh and blood. The battle intensified near the artifact. The glowing crystal pulsed violently, reacting to the energy of the conflict. The humans formed a protective perimeter around it, anticipating every move of the raiders. The twins stayed close, guiding humans to hidden paths, warning them of traps the raiders had set. The crawl raiders tried one last desperate move. They released a massive bio-beast, bigger and faster than any seen before, trained to crush anything in its path. The twins froze, certain it would end the humans. But humans adapted instantly. Two leapt onto the beast, disabling it, while others fired specialized devices to incapacitate the creature. The beast roared, struggled, and fell silent. The twins' mouths hung open in disbelief. No one can stop them, the larger twin whispered. As the last raider squads pressed their attack, the humans executed a final maneuver. Coordinated strikes, flanking movements, and precise weapon use decimated the enemy forces. Within minutes, the raiders lay incapacitated, their plans destroyed, their elite commanders neutralized. The forest fell silent. Smoke rose from minor fires, and the eerie quiet of victory settled over the ruins. The twins ran forward, tears streaming, hugging their parents and the other rescued aliens. They saved us all, the smaller twin whispered, voice trembling with awe. The captain approached the twins, placing a firm hand on each of their shoulders. You survived because you called for help, he said. And because you trusted the humans. Remember this, when the helpless call, we answer. Nothing will stop us. The twins nodded, unable to speak. They had witnessed humans' power firsthand, their courage, and their strategy. They understood now that the legends were true, and even stronger than stories had claimed. The artifact was secure, the raiders defeated, and the rescued aliens were safe. The humans began organizing the survivors for extraction. Despite the chaos of battle, not one prisoner had been harmed. Not one human had fallen. The twins' awe deepened. They had seen humans fight, survive, and protect with an efficiency and skill that no other species could match. As the humans prepared to leave, the twins looked back at the ruins, at the glowing crystal, and at the devastation the raiders had caused. They are more than warriors, whispered the larger twin. They are legends. And somewhere in the distance, survivors of the crawl raiders fled into the dark forest, carrying tales of unstoppable humans who had come to protect the helpless. The galaxy would remember this day, for when humans fight for the helpless, no enemy can stand in their way. The twins, safe at last, understood the truth of their plea. Humans were not just saviors, they were unstoppable legends, capable of facing impossible odds and winning. And the galaxy would never forget the name of those who answered the SOS.